Hi everyone, Nova here once again with this week's live stream narcissistic abuse recovery question, answer and support session. Thanks for joining us everyone. Fantastic to have you back. Now, David's going to be joining us very shortly, so I'm just going to wait to see when he pops up and I'll let him in. David will be co-hosting the show as he does every second Tuesday night. Now, as you join everyone, please say hi. In the comments below, say where you're from in the world. And already we've got Carolyn Mobsby there tuning in from Brisbane. Hi, Carolyn, you're a local. Good to see. Just say hi, everyone. It's awesome to know where you're from. Just waiting on David, who will be co-hosting the show. And we've got Trisha Craig is here. And it looks like she's tagged Simone. So yeah, come on in, Simone. You need to join us as well. And we've got, who else have we got there? We've got, we've got Courtney. Hey, Courtney, how you going? And we've got Ash Kasha is there, says hi, Nova. Hi, Ash Kasha. Thanks for joining us here. You're a regular at these live streams, aren't you? It's wonderful to have you back. And Trisha's from Brisbane too. Oh, wow, we've got a few locals here, which is awesome. Okay, where is David? Where are you at, David? David is a bit slow tonight. How dare he be late, tuning in all the way from Las Vegas. Not to worry, we'll just, we'll be patient and because I know he gets up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and there he is. He hasn't disappointed, okay. I'm just going to let you in, David. And we've got Katja Sadowska's there and Bron McPherson says hello from Geelong. Hi. Okay, and Rebecca's there from Sydney. Okay, David. Oh, no, it's doing that thing. Why is it doing that thing? It looks all different too. Okay, David, I don't know what it's looking like from your end. But from this end, it's totally different and you're not coming up with an ad. So perhaps comment. Hold on, maybe I can get you in from there. Oh yeah, okay. It changes every week. Every time Facebook does an update, it's like, oh my goodness, what do? I'm not going to be able to let my guests in. So hopefully, and who have we got? Someone from Scotland is here. Rebecca from Sydney, we've got Stacey from the USA. Whereabouts in the USA, Stacey? And there you are, David. Hi.
Hello.
How you going?
Great. How are you going?
Yeah, you're getting used to me saying that. It was funny. I counseled someone in the US today, and the Skype came up, and I said, "How you going?" And they went, "Oh my goodness, I went to Australia last year, and I really missed having someone ask me how you going." We just say it, so I don't even think about it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, David, we've got a few people here already, so let me just, we've got Jacqueline Morrison is tuning in from Scotland. Good to see you here, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've got Maxine Green is here. We've got Deborah Hicks from Sydney. Patty Colombo's here from the US. Stacey's here from USA. Someone from Michigan. Hold on. Oh, Stacey's from Michigan. Rebecca from Sydney, Bronze from Jill. I think I've said just hello just about everyone I can see. But yeah, guys, just as you tune in, just say where you're from, and as usual, comment your questions below, and David and I will answer as many as we possibly can. And guys, if you can possibly share the live stream, especially while we're live streaming, David and I would really appreciate that. As always, we're trying to spread awareness about narcissistic abuse. We've got Simone from Brisbane, Kelly from Cootamundra, awesome, and Maxine's from the Gold Coast. Okay, David, what are we talking about tonight?
Narcissists.
Narcissists, yeah. I figured as much.
Yes. Well, I thought of the catchy title, Why the Narcissist Fears Us.
Yeah.
So if that's catchy enough for people to tune in, and narcissists have fears just like all of us do. And I think that there's specific fears they have that might be more intensified for people with that disorder, particularly. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of these things and help explain why they did some of the things they did to you and help people understand. Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought that'd be kind of fun. Talk about some of their fears, talk about some of their odd, negative, bad, abusive, toxic behaviors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and where their fears come from, I guess, in contrast to where our fears come from.
sure. Yeah, great. Love it. Yeah. So I made some notes, took some notes, and typically I call it the community, the narcissistic abuse recovery community in YouTube and Facebook and
Yeah,
social media. They'll often say the narcissist's biggest fear is exposure, right? To be exposed, for people to know they're a narcissist. Well, not, narcissists, I think I've always believed that narcissists believe that they can identify they're a little different than most people early on in life and age. But they don't all know that they're actually the term narcissist. It's not just exposure, but what is that? What is that? And I think that's these big massive deep feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness and not good enough and things like this. And um, narcissists are products of low self-esteem and massive amounts of shame. They may have really negative and pessimistic thinking. I think they're lacking, well, we know they're lacking emotional empathy, inability to love, and emotional connection. And I think these are the things that help us feel safe and secure in life, period.
mm,
Right? So I think narcissists cannot self-soothe. I think they depend on people for emotional regulation. And I don't think they have a real sense of self at all. I don't. And so fears are expected. Fears are intense to them, I believe. And I think that, like most of us, we may be led by our fears in our daily behaviors.
yeah,
So, talk about some of their fears. I think fear of abandonment is an obvious one. And the obvious behavior of people who fear abandonment is people who abandon. And that's becoming more and more common in society today, spousal abandonment without any word of what's happened, no closure. We call it discard, throw away, stuff like this. Um, and abandoning responsibilities, abandoning accountability, abandoning and even perceived abandonment, where this narcissist who fears abandonment may believe you're going to leave them all the time, and they'll perceive this abandonment even where it doesn't exist. They'll
mm,
they'll, they'll overanalyze your behaviors and think you're leaving them. A real paranoia, right? I think they have fear of rejection. I think fear of rejection is huge. I think by not asking for what they want, I think shows that they fear the rejection. I think that's just obvious behaviors. And it'd be fun to talk about more of what this fear of rejection can look like. I think they have fear of commitment. I think a lot of narcissists won't commit. I think that title, boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Husband and wife, they'll wait forever to get married, maybe. Or maybe they'll say, oh, we're not dating, we're not together. I'm not your boyfriend today, tonight, your girlfriend. It's that real fear of commitment, fear of rejection, cheating. Cheating may be a behavior of real fear of commitment, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, where they have other relationships going on. Um, and I really truly believe narcissists have a certain degree of inferiority complex.
oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, and this shows in their behavior of overcompensating. So this is why the narcissist competes. The person has to compete with everything. You'll say something and they'll say, no, that's not true to everything you say. No, that's not right. And it's like, well, opinion can't really be wrong. Maybe you have a different opinion, or maybe if it's an actual fact, and they'll say, no, that's not true, but let's not bother looking it up. Things like this. It's just arguing. I have to be better than you. You go, maybe as a partner, you go and accomplish something, a degree, a certificate, something like that, maybe they'll go get one too, you
Yeah.
know, all kinds. So I think it'd be really fun to sit and talk about, because anyone who's been in a relationship with narcissists can talk about all these behaviors, all of them. And I mean, what do they really try to do? They try to control relationship, right? So they compete, they try to appear superior all the time, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be fun to see people's examples of what happened when they're dating people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean,
And I think,
narcissists in particular.
yeah, I think all of those, yeah, really incredible points that you made that are just so obvious in a narcissistic relationship. Um, they all stem from, I guess, one basic thing that the narcissist fears, which is losing narcissistic supply. They're everything. One of those things is a fear of not having enough narcissistic supply, like which I guess is the equivalent of a car having petrol. If it's got no petrol, fuel, gas, it's not going to go anywhere. A narcissist cannot be without narcissistic supply. So when they fear rejection, when they fear abandonment, when they fear commitment to just one person, what they're really, I guess, all of those things are pointing towards is they're fearing not getting enough energy, not enough fuel to sustain that mask that they must wear, so that they never have to look at that inferior person. Like you said, they have an inferiority complex, absolutely. And that fuel is what keeps them from turning inward and yeah, having a really good look at that true self.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're dependent on their victims. They're dependent on people for what they need. That fuel is my emotional needs. I need my needs met. However I can get them met. And
Yeah,
narcissists they learn this learned behavior early in adolescence, lie, manipulate, things like this to get what I want, get what I need. If they didn't need us, they weren't so dependent on us, why would they date and stay with people they hate, right?
absolutely. And I guess that's a bit of a misconception out there, especially when you're trauma bonded to your abuser and you're being, excuse me, treated so badly, and you keep going back and you keep going back, which we know happens all the time in domestic violence relationships. You think that it's, that you're the one who's in dire straits. You need them. You can't survive without this person. When in actual fact, the narcissist needs us, the victim, more than we need them. That cannot be. Eventually we'll be able to break away, the victim, and we can heal and move on. The narcissist cannot be alone. That they cannot. It would be, if they're alone with that true self, and that just will never happen.
I just got thrown off. I'm sorry. Did you
Oh,
see me? Was I here? Or I don't know if you could see
yeah.
me, but I couldn't hear you. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
did you just, can you hear me now?
Yeah, everything's fine now. I don't know what happened.
That's really
That was
weird.
odd.
Yeah, I was just saying that to be alone, that they can't be alone. So they actually need us more than we need them, because they they cannot be alone. If they are alone, and this is why they have numerous sources going on at the one time, and they cheat all the time, because one source is just never enough. They have to have a backup, because if they're alone with that true self, and there's no one to manipulate to support that mask they always wear.
That's right. Yeah, the real avoidant narcissist who may find himself alone is what we call like the collapsed narcissist, the one who just gave up, maybe fully dependent on people, doesn't have people in their life, doesn't have anything that they need, and just, I mean, massive fear, shame, guilt, things like this, I would imagine, all day long. Yeah.
Yeah. um I guess one would be questioning, David, if narcissists have, if they can't be without their victim, you know, they have such paranoia about being alone, why are they the ones then who will actually sabotage relationships, discard the victims? If they, you know, if they have this fear of abandonment and have this fear of being alone, why do they sabotage the relationship all the time and discard their victims?
Yeah, it's a real misfeeling or not feeling secure, safe, and stable. Growing up in childhood, their parents never made them feel this way. Never, never.
Yeah,
I mean, that's real obvious right there on the surface. So um, I'm going to abandon people that I fear will abandon me.
yeah,
And it's this fear coming to fruition, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a message that my little grandbaby is watching. Hey, Ashton.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, it's that once again, I guess it boils down to that narcissistic supply, doesn't it? Because they're sabotaging the relationship, whether it's justified or not, because you know you've actually done something or you haven't done something. We know most of the time you haven't done anything, but even on that perceived, um, uh, that the perceived awareness that you have done something, they're going to sabotage that relationship because they fear that they're not going to be able to get enough energy from you, or that, and or they've depleted your sources, they've emptied your fuel tanks, and they must move on. So I guess, yeah, that would go to, you know, why do they sabotage the relationship? They don't actually move on from a relationship, do they, unless they've got another source secured. So this is where
Yeah.
they're smart, they're manipulative, they're not going to be alone.
No, they don't. They really don't want to be in it, and it doesn't matter kind of who it is, too. Really, I mean, they don't care about who people are. They don't have a sense of their own self. They don't care about who other selves are, who other people are. It's just right to the next. That's why people are easily interchangeable. How did
Yeah,
they just go from me of 9 years to this person they met 2 weeks ago, and they
yeah.
get married? It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and we hear a lot that you know, they'll go to someone that they told you that was just so not their type, or you know, just completely different to what they said they go for. And I guess what you've got to remember there is it just boils down to that fear of being alone, being without a source, and that any source is a good source as long as they're giving them fuel. And if you've been depleted of fuel, as in you have been abused so much, you can't give any energy back to them, then they will move on to, and I'm going to say anything. I know we're all human beings, but I'm going to say anything because of the way narcissists objectify their victims. We're all just objects, and that's all we are. We're things to satiate that appetite for fuel.
Well, and they don't know who they are. Literally, they don't know who they are. They don't. You know, they don't have values and morals and act on these things. Without that, you don't know who you are. You don't feel stable, back to being unstable again. Yeah, and making irrational choices of abandoning my partner and coming back tomorrow and acting like nothing happened.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess, yeah, feeds right into talking about fears, is that when when you start standing up for yourself and you know, questioning the narcissist because you're being devalued, what are they going to have to mirror? There's nothing there to mirror anymore because um, you know, you've changed. You're no longer that loving person on the pedestal that thought they were amazing. So they need, and because they don't have their own personality, and they rely on mirroring someone else and taking on board their values, they have to find someone else to mirror.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, their sense of their own self is almost a parody, isn't it?
Yeah,
The joke. Yeah, it's not really who they are. They
yeah,
don't know. They don't know. So it doesn't matter who other people are. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, we might start answering a few questions, David. We've got heaps of people here. Let me just see.
Good.
We've got who am I seeing yet? We've got Ruby Tuesday. Hi, Ruby. And we've got Celine Guy there. Hi, Celine. We've got Lee Michelle says, evening, guys. Hey, Lee. We've got Lizzie James. Hey, Lizzie. And Talis Alren is there. Hi, Talis. And we've got San Giorgio there. Hi, San. San says, good evening, Nova and David. Nice to see you both. This PTSD is crazy today. Oh, I'm so sorry that yeah, you're going through that, San. David, did you want to talk a little bit about the PTSD and, you know, why this is just, it's a given when we not only when we're in these relationships, but when we come out of them, like Sam has, the PTSD is really just a really significant factor that all victims of narcissistic abuse suffer.
Yeah, reaction to trauma. This is a traumatic experience, a traumatic relationship. Like I said earlier, just this kind of abandonment with somebody that you love so much, you believe, and that you have future promises and commitments with, and maybe children, and they walk right out the door and no explanation. You don't know what's going on, and maybe they're dating someone else immediately, cheating on you. Find out they've been cheating on you for years. All this stuff is too much emotional trauma for us to handle. Way too much. Way too much. So this reaction to this, the CPTSD, is a really an umbrella term for all kinds of different problems, anxiety and depression and all kinds of different disorders and syndromes, symptoms. So it's just a way to identify what you've been through,
Yeah.
so you know how to help it. Um, Emotional trauma start with understanding, and I'm sorry you feel the way you do today right now. Always try to everybody out there, no matter how you feel, if it's bad, do something about it. Just try. Anxiety, do something about it. There's things you can do. Depression, do something about it. Don't ignore these things, don't accept them, and don't live with them forever.
Yeah, that they're not going to go away unless you bring them from here up to here and you talk to them, unravel
Yeah,
it.
that's right. That's right. Yep. Time to start a relationship with yourself and take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you're feeling better soon, Sam, and I really hope that you're getting some support. Okay. Patty Colombo's there. Hi, Patty. Patty says, my ex-narc just remarried at 64 years old. His new supply that has 4 kids, plenty of supply. And we're talking about PTSD here, Patty. And you know what? You can be the strongest person on earth and you can think, you know, you're over this. And when you hear something like that, that's going to be a trigger. I mean, it doesn't matter how evil you know they are, does it, David? The fact that you can look at these things and just feel a twinge, just feel, you know, some kind of pang of, just means that you're human, you know, and that you have empathy and that you have the ability to have, you know, a normal range of emotions. That's someone you used to be in a relationship. So I don't know, you know, how you're feeling, Patty, but I'm just saying the fact that you're aware of it, if there is any kind of, if you are having a bit of a moment, that's okay. And yeah, it's really, it's normal. But yeah, please don't dwell on it. That's the main.
Yeah, try to understand it and give yourself a break. Have some self-compassion. You've been through a lot more than you probably understand or realize. Yeah.
And you know, he's 64. This new person, oh my goodness, Patty, she is going to cop it. She's going to be where you were, and worse. We all know that as they get older, they get worse. And those 4 kids, I feel sorry for them because then she's not going to be treated any better than you. Most probably she's going to be treated just as badly, if not worse. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations for you, and I feel sorry for the new victim.
New
Yeah.
victim. Yeah. Okay, we got Tracy James there. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says, I can't believe how quickly he found another. Yeah. I guess just looking back at what we were talking about earlier, Tracy, they can't be alone. So it's not, and I know this hurts when you find this out, but most likely that person was there all along. They're while they're devaluing you, they're grooming someone else. And if she was there really quickly, I can, yeah, but bet your bottom dollar she's been there all along. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think it's really important, everyone, to realize that you're probably, and I know that a narcissist or your ex, if they're disordered, I know they have a disorder and you don't, a personality disorder. That's a clear separation, distinction between the two of you. But really, you're two completely different people that just want different things and hold different things important. And it's important to understand why were you two together then, not being clear. I mean, some people will date somebody who likes things that they don't like. Like I was talking in a video a week or two ago about a lot of women think having a boyfriend means going on hunting trips, or I have to be into your sports teams you're into. And it's like, no, you can find somebody who likes things you like. And so a narcissist doesn't care who people are. It's like getting a new pet every month. I like this pet. Oh no, this pet isn't potty trained well enough. Get rid of him. Go get another one. Oh, this pet ended up, after a few months, it grew up and the ears aren't perfectly standing up like this. I want one with perfect ears standing up like this. So I'm gonna go get rid of this. Go get another one. I mean, they say farmers will say, don't ever name your cows, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna eat them, right? Don't ever name them. Don't get to know them.
No.
Don't connect with them, right? And it's like there's a narcissist, right? I don't
Yeah,
really need to know your name or who
yeah,
you are.
yeah, yeah. You're just an object, but they have to know their name because that's what's acceptable by society, not because of any, I guess, wanting to know your name because you respect that person. It's simply because, oh, that's what you do, in this society. It's
Yeah,
mirroring.
character is not important. It's not important.
It's what you can do for me as a narcissist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Kiralee Cooper says hi everyone. Hey Kiralee. We've got Kari Delarue is there, says hi David and Nova. Hey Kari, we've got Raymond Cooper's there. Hey Raymond. We've got Yesenia Reza there. Hi Yesenia. Let me just open yours up. Yesenia says, I think of them as serial killers in a way. Do you think they also think of the past victims who got away and think of coming back to destroy them again? Or if they found a new victim, they let the past victim go? Do you want to talk to that, David? Do you think that's a really good way of, of looking at it, Yesenia? Um, yeah. Do you want to talk to that one?
Like serial killers, and that they'll come back and yeah, I mean, they do this. They'll come back to their victims and re-victimize them
And
and
Hoover.
see what else they can get from them again.
Yeah,
Return back to some good old times, back
yeah,
when you gave me money and sex and attention,
yeah.
and when I hurt you, it was fun and it
Yeah.
controlled you.
They store you on. They absolutely do, Yesenia. They store you on ice. They never let you go off, so to speak. I have used the analogy in the past of a crocodile or an alligator storing a bit of meat, in a cave. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'll come back and have a bit of a gnaw on that later on. And that's pretty much what you mean to the narcissist. They don't want you going anywhere. They don't want you healing. They don't want you happy. Certainly don't want you happy. They want you to be able to come back when they feel like it. If things aren't going so well with the new victim, the new target, they want you to be able to come back and re-abuse you. Yeah, as David said, re-victimize you, and also, that create that, cement that push pull, which keeps you addicted, so you don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, and if you understand why they're so competitive, that they really don't have a sense of self of who they are, and how extremely emotionally immature they are. They actually care about who broke up with who and stuff like this. So maybe after a few years or several years of abuse, you finally left them, but in their mind, you broke up with them, so I need to get you back. I need to get you back and break up with you. I need to be the one who broke up with you, or screw you for breaking up with me. I'm gonna go smear you and hurt you, and I mean, real immature, and it's really how they think, real like
Yeah.
children.
Like, it made me laugh the way you were saying it, David, but, it's really, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a petulant toddler that, stomps its feet. And, you're not going to be allowed to win. I need to win, and throws the Monopoly board. um, they, yeah, they do exactly that. It really does make a difference most of the time who does the discarding. In that, yeah, if you get away from them, they will pull out all stops sometimes, a lot of the time, to hoover you back in just so they can discard you and punish you even worse than the last time. But that certainly doesn't stop them from hoovering you if they're the ones who did the discarding. I mean, David and I, we hear all sorts of stories, and I know we've spoken about this before, where we hear stories where that they've kept you on ice, they've kept you, in your pain, marinating, and they've had I don't know, a bit of a falling out with the new target that they discarded you for, and they've actually come back to you to seek advice on what to do with their new target. And they do this. This is what they do. Hey, can you give me some pointers? It's not going so well with this new person. And, you'd think that would be, a no-brainer not to do, but they are so arrogant that they feel entitled to do that. And normally they're aware that they have their victim in such a place, on ice, marinating, that meat in the cave, that they actually know they can do that.
Yeah,
So,
the more lack of awareness that what they're doing is just crazy. It's just
crazy.
crazy, like crazy. That's insane, and they do that. They do that. No
Yeah.
shame. Cross your boundaries. More evidence that this is a narcissistic world, and you're just in it. You're in my world. Yeah,
Crazy.
amazing.
Yep. The actual crazy person wants you to think that you're crazy. Okay. Leonie Kate's there. Um, Leonie says, living with a narc made me feel like I was going crazy. That's what they do, Leonie. The only answer is to get out. Yeah, and I hope you're healing and getting lots of support. We've got Brenda Hommelhoff is there. Hi, Brenda. Inga Schaefer's there. Says hi, Nova and David. Hi, Inga. Okay, we've got Amanda Cook is there. Hey, Amanda. Amanda says, my son's dad was only back in his life for 8 months after he disappeared on him for 4 years. He has walked out on him many times over the last 12 years. And after being let down time and time again, and many, many lies, my 12-year-old called him out on his behavior. So his dad threw a massive tantrum, trying to pass blame and lie his way out of it. My son stood his ground with his dad. Then his dad cut contact with him again. My sons now do not want to see him again, which I fully support, as he is a huge narc. I have explained narcissism to them so they know it's not their fault. But is there any advice that I could give my boys about this? David?
Yeah, I'm sorry. One, I always tell the parent to don't get involved with his abuse if that's possible, to show that contrast. So be healthy, be as healthy and as strong as you can, and show that contrast to the children, and have stability and a schedule and regularity and all these things. Get them into counseling, some kind of outside perspective other than just mom telling them also. And I it's taken me a while to really see that I believe it is important to tell the children at some point so that they understand, so they really, really know that it's not them, but also help them understand how to cope with dad, how to deal with dad, how to not react to dad, how to ask for what they want appropriately with dad, how to not let dad cross their boundaries. So it's a real learning lesson. Really, really teach them how to deal with their father because I don't know if they're forced to by the courts or what, but um, yeah, it's just basically helping the children deal with that, how to cope with that. What
Yeah.
is, and that's good. You explained to them about narcissism, but I mean, more important than the title, why does dad do these things? Why does dad freak out? Why does dad so angry? Try to teach them about these things if you can, and then how to respond, how to react.
Yeah.
Best
Uh,
advice. Outside
yeah.
perspective, child therapy.
Yeah, I can't really add anything. David said it all, but I guess another thing would be to, yeah, in just, I guess, expanding on what David said, teaching them it's okay to put boundaries in place, as in learning how to not be manipulated, and it's okay to have your own needs and wants. As we know, narcissists objectify their own children just like they objectify you. He would have objectified you, and it's okay for them to say, "Hey, you know what? I want to go and play with my friends." It's okay. It's okay for them to want to do something for them. A narcissistic parent will make a child fear and feel guilty and feel obligated to them. So, yeah, teaching them, and once again, that'll come out through counseling, that it's okay and it's not being selfish to have your own needs. In fact, it's very important to um, differently from the narcissist who's meeting his needs in an extremely selfish way. It's okay to have your own desires, as in, you know, your own set of friends that you want to do, you know, go and play with and things like that. Yeah, and just teaching them how to understand dad's manipulating ways, and so that they can have their boundaries.
Yeah, I wish we could teach children this and not leave it up to parents entirely. Start teaching children, maybe in schools, really young, how to meet emotional needs. So important. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we've got Beck Feeney there. Hi, Beck. Beck says, even when you have 100% proof they are caught cheating, they still will never completely admit it. It was always the other person wanted them and made the moves. Yeah, that absolutely 100% correct. Back to admit fault is to say that you're flawed. It's to say that, you know, you did something that you need to be accountable for. And that's a weakness. Narcissists will never ever admit to being weak, to being at fault at anything, unless there's something in it for them. If they need to say they're sorry for something, because in the end they need to get something out of you, then yeah, they'll give an insincere apology. But yeah, if you can have all the proof you want, you can have screenshots, and they will deny it. And this is part of, you know, this gaslighting is what makes you go crazy, because you have got proof, and you can't understand why they just will not, in the light of proof, admit to what they did wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But once you realize a narcissist will never be, this is a good way to detect a narcissist. They'll never be vulnerable. Never. Especially with their partners. The more and more they know you, the more they get to have relationships with people, the stronger they are, the bigger they are. They'll never be vulnerable. They must stay in control. So they'll never, ever, ever admit they did anything wrong. I
Yeah.
did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I never made it. It's always your fault. I didn't do anything. We weren't dating at the time. No. I mean, they just can't. They can't apologize. They can't ask for what they want or need. So
And
never be vulnerable. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of feeds into, you know, what we're talking about, the fears that the narcissist has. Well, you know, the more you get to know them, and the more obviously the more comfortable they become with you, and the mask drops and they see, you know, who the narcissist really is, then, you know, they fear the fact that they are vulnerable. And that feels really, really bad to a narcissist. That is a weakness, just like having empathy. You know, they have no empathy, because to be able to have compassion for someone, then you might get hurt. So that's why they have completely no empathy. So that's why it's like they have this, I guess, conundrum, really, because they need you, they need to get supply from you, but they despise you because they need you, because their vulnerability around you makes them feel really bad. So it's this real conundrum. I need you, but I hate you because I need you. And of course, what does this result in? Abuse for you. Yeah.
Yeah. What a contradiction. Avoidancy and dependency.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Way contradicting. Way confusing. Yeah.
Okay. Kari says, my sociopath ex told me that he didn't know who he was when I caught him in lies and cheating. I thought it was a Hoover attempt to make me feel sorry for him, but he was actually telling the truth. My sociopath ex told him that he didn't know who he was when I caught him in lies and cheating. I thought it was a Hoover attempt to make me feel sorry for him. He didn't know who he was. So do you get that, David? I'm not sure what it means.
Well, I definitely know what a sociopath not knowing who they are means, but I'm not quite sure what she means. I think she's saying you thought it was a Hoover attempt.
Yeah.
Is that I think she maybe saying that the ex contacted you again just to say, I don't know who I am. I'm having discoveries. I'm discovering that I don't know who I am. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's, probably that, where she's saying that he's come back and gone, that just wasn't me. It was so unlike me. I don't know who I was, attempting, the Hoover attempt to get her to feel sorry for him. That's the way I'm taking it now, Kari. Just correct us if we're wrong.
Right.
But
And
that's
it could be.
another Hoover maneuver. Yeah.
It could be. It could be true and it could be a Hoover, both. It could be what he's trying to get you back or whatever. But real important, and it's an interesting subject, I think. The sociopath would be the secondary psychopath, right? I think the narcissist doesn't have a sense of self, and I think the psychopath does not have a self at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally. So the sociopath will feel that, and I bet they do feel that way. Yeah. But what were their intentions of contacting you and telling you? I don't know.
Yeah, certainly. To you, at the very, very least, Kari, it was to manipulate you. There's never any good intentions. It's about them 100% of the time. So whatever his motive was, it was to manipulate you. Yeah. We've
Yeah,
got Lynette.
a real sociopath will only contact you to exploit you. They'll only have you in their life to exploit you.
Yeah, yeah. We've got Lynette St. Vincent Hanaway is there. Hi, Lynette. Lynette says they are looking for someone with finances they can exploit. They never choose someone who initially would be a financial burden on them. Yeah, it depends what they're after. People don't always have lots and lots of money, but I certainly absolutely agree with you, Lynette, that people get exploited if they have money and the narcissist has none, or even if the narcissist does have some, they want that out of you. But the narcissist could be after something different. They might have lots of money. They might need someone you know who looks a certain way, to meet a need of theirs, to look appropriate in society. It's not always about money. It's about meeting their needs for whatever reason. Yeah. What do you think, David?
I missed some of the part that you read.
Um,
I got the
Lynette says
financial.
they are looking for someone with finances they can exploit. They never choose someone who initially would be a financial burden on them. And I just said, yeah, it's very common that obviously they exploit people with money and take everything you've got. But it's not always the case. It depends on what need they're trying to get met. If they want someone, some beautiful person, perhaps, someone who looks a certain way, someone who's going to enhance their reputation for some reason, for impression management. It's about getting their needs met, and whatever you've got something they want. It's not always about money. Yeah.
Yeah, big time. You'll see narcissists date, marry extremely poverty-stricken people. It's not finances. But important fact is in all abusive relationships, it's almost 100% financial abuse or exploitation. And
Oh,
it always starts first. Very
yeah.
interesting, I think. If you really look back at your guys' relationships, you might see some kind of exploitation financially.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Rita Carol Smith is there. Hi, Rita. Carolyn Mobsby's there. Hi, Carolyn. Carolyn says, what is the difference between a narc and a psychopath? David?
Well, they're two different. The psychopath falls under the antisocial personality disorder. So they're two separate personality disorders out of 10 total. And so what's interesting about the antisocial or the psychopath or sociopath is that they are actually narcissists as well. So they fit the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder as well. So when you're speaking about a sociopath or a psychopath, you're also speaking about a narcissist.
Yeah.
But a narcissist is not necessarily a psychopath. So if you're talking about a psychopath, the antisocial personality disorder would be, a little bit more criteria, right? The little bit more antisocial behaviors, the dangerous behaviors, risk-taking behaviors, criminal behaviors. Antisocial doesn't refer to them not necessarily being social animals. It's antisocial behavior. They could be very social butterflies. They could be, but their behaviors are antisocial, not with the grain of society. And
Yeah.
so criminal is very common. Violence. The psychopath over the sociopath would be the psychopath more so genetically formed as the sociopath more environmental. If
Yeah.
that helps, if that answers your question a little bit.
That's the big one, I think, is that a psychopath is born. Certainly, they can be influenced by environmental factors, but a psychopath is born. A sociopath is molded by the environment. Environmental factors impact on their narcissism. And as David said, psychopaths and sociopaths are narcissists. They're all narcissistic, but it doesn't work the opposite way necessarily. But certainly there is so much overlap, between these, but there are very distinct differences as well. Another big difference between a psychopath and a narcissist is that a narcissist actually feels inferior. That's why if they perceive criticism, they go into narcissistic rage. They have a meltdown because what you're doing is you're even when you haven't, you are potentially exposing their true self, which is their greatest fear. So if they perceive criticism because they feel so inferior inside, they can't handle that and they fly into a massive narcissistic rage. Psychopath doesn't feel inferior. They don't need your approval. A psychopath does not have those insecurities, and they will not care if they'll care, but they don't have the insecurities that the narcissist
There's
does.
no self.
Yeah, they
There's
do not
no self.
attach. They don't need
There,
to attach to someone like a narcissist does to get to sustain a false mask, if you will.
yeah, there's no self with the psychopath.
Yeah.
And I also think of the sociopath as more of the emotional out of the two, big time. And they're even, it's even coined the term or as the big sister to borderline
Yeah.
sociopathy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that's helped, Caroline. Okay, we've got Kelfa Killender's there. Hi, Kelfa. We've got Tanya Brown's there, and we've got Suzanka Petkovska's there. Says hi to both of you. Love to listen to you. We're so glad that you're here, Suzanka. Tanya says, why does my ex still try to get back with me even though we have been apart since April, and I'm sure he would have others by now? Yeah. That's because you are another source of narcissistic supply, Tanya. And like we were talking about, the crocodile storing its meat, keeping you on ice, all those kinds of things. It doesn't matter. You've got to remember that all his new victims are just objects. And one day he might just be a bit bored, with that object or those objects. So he'll come back to you. You look like you're healing. It looks like you're moving on a bit. You'd start to, you'd probably be getting a bit shiny and new here. And yeah, he comes back to see what he can get out of you. Basically, what he's doing is he's coming back to see if you're up for another round of abuse.
Yeah,
And that's what
it can get,
it's all about. Sorry,
yeah,
David?
these attempts can get pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
I tell people, man, in any of you, if you have somebody like this constantly going back into your life and they don't stop and it continues for a long time, besides that, it's, you're starting to get into legal problems and troubles, but you're giving them something. They're still holding on to something. So be aware of what you're doing. It can even be as simple as just picking up the phone. Stop picking up the phone and stop saying hello and screaming at them and hanging up. Stop replying, please leave me alone. Stop. Just stop. They won't usually continue to keep trying and trying and trying unless when they get nothing from you, because
Yeah.
it's something they're getting from you. That's why they're going back.
That's exactly, yeah, exactly. Tanya, this is why, we stress all the time the importance of no contact. Sometimes you think you're going on no contact. Obviously, he's getting through somehow, but contacts, it can be, looking at them on Facebook, stalking them, asking people about them, even just seeing their name come up on your phone if you haven't blocked them is enough to keep them inside your head, which makes it a lot easier for them when they come back to hoover you. It makes it a lot easier because they're already inside your head. They've just got to stir the pot a bit. And this is why no contact has to mean everything, absolutely everything. Yeah.
It's just so important. So don't play the game with them anymore. Don't watch and see what they're doing. And I have my clients constantly ask me, right? Why are they look so happy on Facebook? Why does it seem like they're just madly in love with their new partner and everything's great and happy for them? It's like, stop looking.
Yeah, because it's an illusion. You're not going to see any pictures of them up there being unhappy. You don't see pictures of that, pictures of unhappy couples who aren't disordered. So certainly the narcissist who's trying to create an impression is not going to put an unhappy snap up. So you're only going to see what they want you to see. We've got Peter Courts there. Hi, Peter. Beck Erickson is there. Hey, Beck. Okay, let me just open your question up. We've got Haley Douse there. Haley says, is it possible for a narc to stay in a domestically abusive relationship with a psychopath long term? Is it possible for a narc to seek or stay in a domestically abusive relationship with another narcissist, psychopath, long term in order for the narc to gain sympathy and supply from their relatives, with no intention of leaving under the guise of victimhood? David?
That was a long one.
Yeah.
Pretty detailed. Is it possible? Of course. Yeah, of course. The psychopath you're talking about is probably their mother or father. I mean, like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
Like the
doing,
person that raised them and made them a narcissist. Yeah.
yeah, and they're doing whatever it takes to get their needs met. They want something. So they'll hang in a relationship with someone else who's selfish and, you know, self-absorbed, like another narcissist. But yeah, they'll do that, sure. As long as they're getting what they want, they're getting their needs met. They will have no problem in squashing that person at a later date. But if it takes, you know, being in a relationship to get what they want, then that's what they do. It's all about getting their needs met. Okay, we've got Selena Guy says, oh, Selena's replying to San and says, I'm sorry you feel this way. If you live in Australia, I think you're talking about San having PTSD. Try to call 1-800-RESPECT domestic abuse hotline. When I have these attacks, talking to them is amazing. They are experts in their field and can, let me just open, lost you, and can really help to give you some instant relief. So there's another number, guys, if you're in Australia. Thank you so much for that, Celine. We've got Caroline Ashley's there. Hi, Caroline. Vera Baco's there. Hey, Vera. Vera says, it's been 4 years since we've broken up, and so 4 years of manipulating our children. No parenting, no boundaries, no importance to school, homework, just a fun, in inverted commas, dad. Yeah. How often do we hear that, David? It's about, yeah, exactly, manipulating the kids and I guess making you look bad, you know, by having rules, you know, of all things with your children. It's what they
Yeah,
do.
this might be how he was raised, but here we go to competing, right? The narcissist will still compete with you for years and years and years after the relationship is over.
Yeah.
It's just sick, and it shows how they don't have a sense of self, of who they are.
Yeah.
Nothing's safe and secure in their life, in their relationships, how they feel. So, I mean, that's so empty,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's not meeting the kids' needs, clearly, because kids need rules and boundaries. They need that. They actually crave that. So it's not about the kids, it's about him and getting the kids to reflect back to him how amazing he is, and setting up conflict between you and your children, because, you know, kids are self-absorbed, especially teenagers. Everything's about them, and if they're going to get if the grass is greener, you know, and they're getting all the cool stuff at dad's, and you know, mum makes them come home at a decent hour and gives them, you know, a time limit on the Xbox, then of course they're going to you know, think that the dad's the better option. Hopefully that's not what's happening with you, but certainly it's creating a setup, manufacturing a situation of conflict between you and your children. It's all about him. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and I mean, look at, narcissists are immature. They don't have friends of their own, do they? And there's the immature parent who is friends with their children instead of the parent, right? The lack of responsibility and accountability. So I'm going to be friends with my children, see them eye to eye, my peers, maybe emotionally,
Yeah.
I mean, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that just made me think of something, David, because we're talking about fears the narcissist has, and I guess this is the whole the whole reason behind the smear campaign is their fear, you know, of what you're going to say, and that you've seen who they really are. And one of the painful things they do in this situation is they stay friends with your friends and your family, or if they were in a relationship with you and perhaps you had teenage children or grown children, they will keep seeing those children, and it's all about creating conflict with you and your children, and continuing to manipulate those people and inflict that smear campaign. But it just made me think of that, because I've been hearing about that a lot lately, where it's really sad that when you break up, they do that, and they try and get your children on board to hate you and to go against you. And it's one of the really horrible, and your friends, family, it's one of the really horrible
It's yeah, it's evidence of inferiority complex. Back to that, because they're overcompensating. They're overcompensating with control. And I'm a fun parent, and I'm gonna. You said even smear campaigns. That's control. Control. I must be superior. I must stay in control because I feel inferior. Yeah, that's what all of that is.
yeah.
The sibling, or the sibling who knows a new baby's coming along, and I got to share my attention. That's another thing you'll see them do. They compete for attention with your own children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Suzanka says, thank you for giving insight to so many people experiencing such difficult feelings. Our absolute pleasure, Suzanka. Yeah, just so glad that these live streams are helping you. Yeah. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you.
Okay. Yesenia says, he seems good with the new victim. Doubt he will come back. Hope he never comes back. Yeah, well, yeah. I hope he doesn't come back, but he's only going to come back if he's somehow got a foot in the door, Yesenia. So you have to nail that door shut and patch up all the holes as he pokes his head in, because often they find some way we haven't thought about. Like that game whack-a-mole. You hit one and then he pops up somewhere else. You hit that one, he pops up somewhere else. Your job is to squash it all at once and make sure that he doesn't have that chance.
Yeah, the problem is, guys, is the new person, I don't care how great it is or how great they are or whatever, it can never be enough. And relationships can never be functional or successful with narcissists. So they're all the reason they return and come back and stuff like this, because the relationships they're in will never work out for them. They never are advantageous. They never last. They're impulsive. They're unstable. They go back and forth. They break up with you even on accident and come back, and then they go to somebody else, and then they say, no, I don't like them. I love them. I hate them. Things like this. So they're always going to come back, but I tell everybody they're always going to come back, but it doesn't matter, because the new relationship they start, it will never work. It'll never be enough. It doesn't matter if they stay together. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It can't work. A relationship can never work with a narcissist. You're only seeing what they want you to see. It can't work because the victim is human. The victim is fallible. We all have flaws. So as soon as you start reacting to their abuse, you show that you're human, which of course you are. So that's something you can't stop. So when you start to show that you have flaws and that you're human, then it's like, ugh, she's not perfect, and that's when the discard basically begins, when you show that you're human. And this is, the crazy nature, because they're the ones that are, making you react to their abuse. But that's why you're getting devalued, because you're reacting. That's why it can never work. It will not work for the next person or the person after that. Okay. Lizzie says, yes, I was leaving mine and he convinced me to stay and work it out, only to walk out on me 3 months later. gave him time to secure the new victim and left me with all the bills, etc. Oh my goodness, I hear this so often where, you know, they beg you to stay, and really what they're doing is exactly what they did to you. They're giving themselves a buffer. They're like, oh, gee, she's on her way out. I need to act quick. So they'll hoover you back in with their crocodile tears, and they quickly get their finances into order, secure the next target, and they'll pull out all stops to keep you there. And once they've got everything set, then they're like, see ya, see you later. Yeah, so common.
Yep. Yeah. More fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Absolutely. So it's things like these fears are triggered. They're triggered emotionally. So, I mean, imagine telling someone with fear of abandonment, you want to break up with them. It's over.
Yeah.
It's just an immediate knee-jerk reaction. No, don't. No, don't leave me. Stay together. No, don't. I'll do whatever it takes. Even if they don't even care about you. It's just you're giving that fear of abandonment. I'm going to leave you. No, you can't leave me. Even though I can't stand you, don't leave me. Yeah.
Yeah. Shani B is there. Shani says, I owe a lot to you too. I'm nearly 1 year post narc, and in the first 6 months, there were attempts from him to contact me in various ways. And in the past, I would have jumped at the opportunity, to emotionally react. And that was always a way that gave him the opportunity to get supply and hoover back in. This time round, I have grey rocked him, and I haven't heard from him since February. Thank you for your guidance. You have set me free from hell. I will be forever grateful, and I have the highest respect for you both. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow, Shani.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thanks for telling us. That's great. Good for you. Good job. You did it. Good.
Yeah, you did it, Shani. You did the work. I'm just so pleased that, you know, David and I could help in some way, but you did it. That was you. That was your strength and your resilience. So yeah, I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. Awesome. Okay. Erica Louise says, good morning from North Carolina. Okay. Good morning, Erica. I hate to think what time it is over there.
6.
6, is it? Oh, did you just look it up, Dave?
6 a.m. Yeah.
How do you know that off the top of your head? You got one of those world clocks in front of you.
No, I know the States. I know what time it is in the States. Yeah.
Okay. Caroline Ashley says, my ex does not want me back, but after breaking no contact, he wants to be friends. However, if I see him, he uses the opportunity to have a dig at me. David, did you want to talk about being friends with your ex-narc?
Yeah. I always laugh when I hear someone say, "Oh, I'm friends with all my exes," you know, and I'm not saying that's a horrible thing at all. That's okay. If you could remain friends with an ex, I think that could be mature. It also could be very unhealthy, but relationships, intimate marriages, these big relationships that didn't work, that failed, usually it's better to part ways. But why do they not care about being friends? Well, it's just basically they're just going to get what they want to get from you, and it doesn't matter what the title is anyways. Oh, we're not dating? Great, perfect.
Yeah.
Friends
It's
with benefits, right?
it's about number one, yeah, you not moving on, keeping you there, and just having you as a backup.
Yeah,
It's not about
and
value.
if
David just accidentally pressed the I'm going to leave button. I'm sure he'll come back in a sec. Where are you, Dave? Going through your questions, everyone. I'm sure David will be back in a sec. Kelly Dorrington says, I think I'm all in the clear after 1.5 years. I made myself no longer a good source by banning his kids from coming and myself paying for everything. Yeah, I really hope so, Kelly. You're in the clear after 1.5 years. Don't get too comfortable though. They can come back and hoover you. I've heard of them hoovering, 20 years down the track and then coming back, like nothing's happened. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. You made yourself no longer a good source by banning his kids from coming and yourself for paying everything. So yeah, good for you. Just be aware they can come back at any time. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to David. David, are you coming back in? We'll see what happens. David was here, everyone who's just joining, but I think he's accidentally hit a button and he's gone for some reason, but I'm sure he'll pop back in. Okay. We've got, who have we got here that I haven't said hello to yet? We've got Melissa Collins is there. Hi, Melissa. Melissa says, God, I will never forget just crying in anger at my ex for something he was caught out doing, and he just sat there and didn't try to console me, or the many times I went to bed in tears over the things that he did, over the things he had done, and he just fell asleep next to me. And that's what we call having no empathy. Whatever, if you were crying, Melissa, in the narcissist's mind, you deserved it. They have no ability to have any compassion for you because you deserved it. They will conjure up some way in their head to make it justified that it's your own fault. It's got nothing to do with them. They will step over your body when you're racked, in sobs and crying uncontrollably, and they will not bat an eyelid because to feel someone else's pain is to have empathy. To have empathy is a weakness, and this is why they can do the most sadistic things and come back to hoover you like nothing's happened, because they have no empathy. And everything is always about them and getting their needs met. And if you're upset, then you need to fix it because you must have done something wrong. Yeah. So I hope you're okay now though, Melissa. I don't know what's happened to David. Well, maybe he's having problems on his end. Anyway, I shall keep going. Lee Michelle is there and says, I thought I was going crazy with all his hoovering and gaslighting. Took me a few years to figure it out. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you're figuring it out now, Lee, but that's the nature of gaslighting. That's why you still make yourself available, because the nature of gaslighting is it distorts your reality. So you don't know that you're being gaslighted because you're being gaslighted, if that makes sense. You don't know you're being brainwashed and manipulated because you're being brainwashed and manipulated. So you question your own sanity. And when someone's standing in front of you, swearing black and blue and being so adamant about their opinion and denying or affirming whatever they're doing, when you've been gaslighted enough, you really just start to question whatever thoughts you have or whatever comes out of your own mouth. But I'm so glad that you've figured it out now a few years later, and that you've stepped out of that fog and you've provided yourself with that contrast, so that you can see just how toxic it was with the narcissist. Okay. We've got Kelly Marlon Munro there. I'd say, guys, it doesn't look like David's coming back. I'd say something's happened and he can't get back in, which is a real shame. I'm hoping that he'll be able to pop back in, but it doesn't look good. I don't know if you can hear me, David, but keep trying. Okay, Kelly says, mine threatens me every time I go to leave him, and then threatens to have my kids taken away from me, and they're not his kids. and only wants anything to do with me when I get paid. Yep, it's all about him, Kelly, and you've got to stop giving him that opportunity to do that. No contact, minimal grey rock, and there are strategies to do that even when you have biological children with them, that it is possible to not give them the opportunity to gaslight you. I talk to parents every day about giving them strategies so that they are not manipulated by the other parent. So yeah, stop giving him that opportunity to threaten you, and take your power back. I can help you with that. Okay. We got Shelley Jones is there. Hi, Shelley. Shelley says, good morning. Good morning. I'm assuming you're in the States, Shelley. Shelley says, I think I married a narcissist. Any advice as we go into a custody battle of my type 1 teen after 14 years of us being abandoned on a family trip? I'm so hurt today. Yeah, look, gosh, what can I say? Any advice, you need to get, obviously a legal representative who understands the nature of narcissistic abuse, certainly dealing with, a narcissist in court, and no reaction, Shelley. You're going to be provoked, that the court is a stage for the narcissist, and you're going to hear all sorts of terrible things, slander, pathological lies about you being a bad mother. Don't react to it. Let your lawyer talk to his accusations, which are not going to be proven, and do not react. Do not be emotional, and he's going to provoke you. He wants you to go crazy so he can go, see, I told you. Don't look at him in court. And certainly, no contact whatsoever. Anything by email, and if you're going to court, I would be probably getting a third party to go through that email contact even. But no reactions. The power he has derives on his ability to get to you and manipulate you, and you have to take that power back. Yeah. Okay, I might just answer one more, guys, and then I might call it a night. Sadly, we've lost the connection with David, which is very sad. I love having David here co-hosting the show, but anyway, David will be back in 2 weeks' time. He's here every second Tuesday. Okay, we've got Lula Katsakopis there. Hi, Lula. We've got Charlotte Meredith there, and we've got hi Charlotte, and we've got Shelley Dooney. Hey Shelley, and we've got Dee Urban is there. Hey Dee, Tina Irwin, Ian Palmer, Rebecca Miller is there. Hey guys, oh hold on, I think I can see David again. Add. Says it's adding him, so I'm just being very, very patient. Forte. David, you're back. What happened?
Hi. I just wanted to take a break.
Oh, okay. I thought something must have gone wrong.
It's Facebook problems. Because everything's different. They changed everything, and I've been having problems the whole video. So I apologize. I don't know what happened. I got kicked off, and I've been watching the whole time.
Oh, yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. Facebook does these updates, and then you'll come back on, and everything will be totally different. And what you did last week, you need to do something different, but they don't tell you what you need to do. You've just got to try and figure it out whilst you're going live, which is not good.
And as most people know, updates aren't always better or improvements.
Yeah. Anyway, so we might just answer a couple more, David. I'm so glad you're back. Okay, I think I saw one here. Whoops, we've got Veronica Winklin is there. Hey, Veronica. Um, Charlotte says, going on 3 years with my ex, still wanting me, but he says it by saying, I still want him. I'm in a relationship and moved on long ago when I said goodbye. Yeah, so obviously still telling Charlotte that he wants her back, even though she's with someone, and clearly, you know, trying to interfere in the relationship that you've got, create drama. Perhaps you've got kids together, and this is just an ongoing source of drama for him, Charlotte. I would suggest cutting that source of supply off at the knees. I know that you said you don't want him back, but he's getting rewarded somehow. I don't know how that is, but he's getting something out of this. Yeah, it's about cutting that source of narcissistic supply off.
Well, apparently, yeah, there's an open line of communication for 3 years.
Yeah.
I would end that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got Shelley Dooney is there. Shelley says, I haven't seen my ex-narc for a little over a year. I still cry every day. Why am I still so upset? Why can't I get over this? David?
It's not something we get over. Something we move through it and we take as much time as we need. You're not feeling any better over a year is worrisome. I would seek professional help. Definitely over a year of crying every single day. This is extremely painful, but it doesn't have to hurt like that every day, and that's why we go get help. There is some help out there, no matter who you are, guys. You can see a doctor. That's what medication is for if we need it. Yeah, and the biggest thing, guys, is support. Try to understand that all of this has happened typically by not enough support from people growing up, things like this, neglect. Supportive people in your life make the biggest difference of all, of all. And look what we do. We isolate, right? That shows that's how we're at least treated, neglected.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Sarah Jane Heath is there. Hi, Sarah. Lee Michelle says, welcome back, David. Everyone's
Thank
glad
you.
that you came back. Sarah says, recommendation on family court versus mediation where child abuse by the narc is proven. Oh, goodness. I would certainly be getting... It depends on what you're going to gain from mediation, Sarah, but certainly you need to have that child abuse verified, and the courts need to see that. So if you can do that and have that evidence, introduced through mediation, that might be a less stressful way to go, a less expensive way to go. But I guess it's all about what meeting your needs and the children's needs. Now, the narcissist is going to look at family court and mediation as a stage. It really doesn't matter, and it's going to be for the narcissist what ultimately is going to get their needs met. So you have to do what is right for you. If you need to go to court to make sure that all of that is solidified and that you have a judge factor in on those orders, and it's not just, I don't know, like a parental agreement, something that's agreed upon in mediation, then I would do that, because you've got to remember that narcissist is going to lie, he's going to cajole a mediator, and he's going to manipulate, and he's going to probably be on his best behavior, especially with the mediator. So you want that evidence introduced, and you want the orders to reflect that he is a child abuser. That's, yeah, that with the information I have, that's all, I guess, all I can really give you at the moment. Yeah, I hope that's helped.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just make sure that whatever you do, it's best for the child.
Yeah.
Big time. Whatever you do, best for the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't believe, certainly don't be talking to the narcissist because you're going to be manipulated. So certainly, if if they're happy to go to mediation and they're acting agreeable, do not fall for that. That those orders need to be concrete. They need to be set in stone. They need to be, the I's need to be dotted, the T's need to be crossed, and there needs to be no flexibility in there unless it's for you, of course, unless it's about getting your needs met, but certainly not for the narcissist, because they will use that to make your life hell later on. Yeah. Hope
Be
that's
very
helpful.
clear. Be very clear what you want going forward. Stay focused on that, and best for the child. Best for the child, not just best for you. But make sure you're not. This isn't revenge.
No.
Best for the child. Yeah.
And think long term. I've spoken to so many people that have come in and gone, but it's in the orders. I have to see him when I, drop the kids off for contact. And it turns out that when they implemented the orders, they were still vulnerable to manipulation, or perhaps they didn't have a lawyer that was switched on, and they got these orders that are wishy-washy and that still let the narcissist walk all over them and make you have contact with them. That is one thing you cannot be doing, is having contact with them, because that will, you will not be able to heal and move on. There can be no contact with your abuser. So those orders need to reflect that. So you need to be really, really strong when those orders are put in place, so that you're not like one of these other people who are going, I still have to see them because it's in the orders, and have to go back to court to get them, adjusted. Yeah. Okay, we might just answer one more and then we might call it a night, I think. Okay, we've got the lovely Jessica Holland is there. Hey, Jessica. And guys, I just want to apologise on behalf of David and I. I know there's others of you out there tonight that we just haven't got around to. I don't see everyone's questions because they float up very, very quickly. And certainly we don't have time to answer them all. But yeah, just a great excuse to come back next week. And you can still talk to each other. These will be on David and my David's YouTube channel, and certainly Brighter Outlook's timeline. And we've got Liz Tassiopoulos is there. Hey, Liz. So just to answer Jessica's question lastly, I'll let you tackle this one, David. Jess says, I'm wondering, what does one narc think of another narc? That's an interesting question.
Well, they don't mind the toxic behaviors, right? Those are acceptable. What I've been told is by some narcissists, I've heard that they look at other narcissists as like competition. Of course, everything's competition, but like, this is my victim, you can't have them, stay away from stay out of my hunting grounds. Yeah, so you've got two low self-esteem, inferiority, complex people that overcompensate with competing. So you'll often see these two arguing in public loudly forever and no winner.
Yeah, and they would just use each other. I'm sure one narcissist would think of that they were better than the other narcissist because they're always number one. So it'd be interesting seeing them have a conversation together, seeing who can outdo the other one and make the other ones feel smaller.
Yeah, I've noticed some narcissists, it seems like it appears that as they get an older age, they might marry each other. It's like, give up on all the other stuff. Let's just it's almost like a business deal. It's their third marriages or something that they're on. And two narcissists marry each other. I've noticed that. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, just speaking of two narcissists, reminds me of that joke. How many narcissists does it take to change a light bulb, David?
I've never heard of this one. Go ahead. Why
How,
don't you finish? How many?
none. They all use gaslighting. I love that. There's so many others out there. If you hear some good ones, guys, some good narc humor jokes, send them our way. You got to laugh. You just cry all the time. But yeah, I like that one. That's funny.
That's a good
So,
one. Yeah.
David, thank you so much for joining us and popping in and out like you did. Hopefully, Facebook will be working properly next time you join us. Everyone, for all my followers, David is here every second Tuesday to co-host the show. But please follow his channel on YouTube. Please subscribe to Damar's Coaching. Lots of valuable information David puts out every single week with his videos. So please subscribe to his channel. And yeah, I'd like to thank David for tuning in all the way from Las Vegas in the early hours of the morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for supporting this video and our work and what we're doing. And once this video is over, you guys can keep asking questions that we will answer later. So if we didn't get to them, thank you. Thank you very much. And all of you, help us, support us, push a few buttons and follow us and subscribe and share this video places, okay? What we're doing, we're trying to help you guys and help other victims. So help us do that. Please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you, David. And I guess I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Guys, I'm here. You'll have me here next week. I'm here every Tuesday. But yeah, David will be back in 2 weeks to join us. So please make sure you join next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Brisbane time. So you have to adjust your clocks if you're in the United States or the UK, wherever you are. But it is 7 p.m. Brisbane, Queensland, Australia time. Okay, David, you can go to sleep now.
Thank you.
You have my permission.
Thanks.
All right. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
ya. I think David's gone for good this time, or for tonight, I mean. Okay. David is amazing. An amazing. Yeah, toxic relationships. So yeah, do yourself a favor, guys, and subscribe to his channel. And please, if you can, if you're in private support groups even, please share these videos. It really helps to get the word out there and help as many people as we possibly can. Just remember, for those of you who are new, I am a professional counsellor in North Brisbane, but I counsel people in their narcissistic abuse recovery via Skype, telephone, all over the world. So it's just a matter of inboxing me here at Brighter Outlook and making an appointment. And I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you very, very quickly. And I would love to be able to support you one-on-one in your healing journey. Other than that, thank you so much for joining David and I here tonight. I will be back. You'll have me next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Brisbane time. So please don't forget to mark that in your calendar and join us and tell anyone you think who would benefit from it. Okay, thank you, everyone. See you next week. Remember your worth and then add tax. Bye, everyone.